Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Leadership in Focus, where I have the distinct privilege of being joined by Uroš Tošković. Uroš is a project manager at Beam Global, which I understand is present in many different countries around the world. And why don't we start there? Why don't you tell us a bit more about Beam Global and the great work that you do?
Okay, so Beam Global is a leader in creating new sustainable infrastructure for electrical vehicles. We are focusing on green independent, 100% powered from renewables, mainly from solar energy, and our motto is to make it possible for users of electrical vehicles to drive on sunshine.
Yeah, and you're working across this broader sustainability space. Obviously, we have these gasoline-powered cars, and we're going through a major worldwide transition. Part of which is the transition to electric vehicles. Tell me a bit more about the infrastructure that is needed to get there.
So, for example, in the first quarter of this year, we have increased EVs on the roads of Europe. It increased more than 50,000 vehicles.
Wow.
Yeah, just in the first quarter of 2026. So our motto and our goal is to make it possible. The grid infrastructure isn't ready for that much increase, so DC fast charging is necessary, but our focus is on providing AC charging. Our goal is for providing energy needed for daily range for the most people, because what we find out is that actually more than 90% of the people on daily, they commute around 40 to 50 kilometers. So our goal is to provide energy for clean, for renewable sources that is grid independent to that kind of the drivers.
Yeah. And speaking about this, because this is such a great way of framing, what the mission is at your company. What are some of the challenges, the obstacles in your way to achieving this transition, very, very smoothly?
Well, mostly the challenge is education of the user of the vehicle. The transition from the gasoline cars to electrical vehicles, and that range anxiety that drivers have when they want to change to electrical vehicles. Education of those drivers, that is very, very challenging and very important thing for us.
Yeah, the education of the drivers, I can totally understand, because it's a big societal cultural shift as well.
The range anxiety that people have, because at the moment you have a gas station, which is the only place where you go to fill your car, and the mentality to need to refill your car from 0 to 100% really quickly, that is something that we find really challenging to change the people, because with the drivers of electrical vehicles, they don't usually, in most cases, they don't leave their cars to be 10%, 5%. They don't charge it from 0 to 100. The goal and our goal is to make it infrastructure available at all places. So the idea is to have infrastructure, and the biggest challenge of that is grid connection. So we have construction work needed, electrical world. With our products, with our EV ARC, which stands for Electrical Vehicles Autonomous Renewable Charger, we don't need grid connection. We don't need any kind of the works, construction and electrical. We only need sun.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're looking at all this from the vantage point of Europe. I wonder, because your company operates in so many different parts of the world.
Yeah, so Beam Global is actually operated on 4 different continents at the moment. So our main headquarters are in San Diego, and we are doing business. We are existing more than 15 years on American market.
Of course.
Last 2 or 3 years we are present in Europe with the Beam Europe, and we are present as well in Africa and the Middle East with Beam Middle East.
Yeah, and that's what I want to ask you is what is the biggest difference when you look at Beam Europe compared to in the European market compared to the electrical vehicle market and this transition movements or everywhere else in the world? What's the big difference? What's unique about Europe in any sense?
Well, we are really traditional, so we are a little bit not that fond to change our habits.
Yeah, so it's a bit harder convincing the European customer more than anyone else.
But we are getting there. Like I mentioned, there is increase in sales in electrical vehicles, especially by the start of 2026. For example, Germany and Italy, they have increased more than 50% of the sales of the electrical vehicles.
Yeah, and it seems like the sort of mindset shift will at some point catch up to the economic reality that this transition is, definitely on the path towards.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can see, the electrical vehicles are no longer future; they are really present.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Uroš, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this podcast.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.